Welcome to our playground.
Recess the podcast is an eclectic show of organic discussion, imagination, deep conversations, interviews, creativity, intuition, high vibrations, and fun.
Be informed, energized, inspired, and entertained with me, Jamie.
And me, Brian. Ready or not, here we come.
Because we all need to take a break. Hey, Brian, what's going on today?
Jamie, how are you? I'm doing good. I'm well. You?
I'm ready to play. I need a break.
Yeah, okay, well, let's do it. This is the place to take a break.
Exactly. I always love recess. Remember as a kid, you run outside and you're like, recess. That's kind of how I feel.
That just triggered a memory. It's like, yeah, when we did that, we'd all run out and I think it was like we would go play dodgeball as a class, and it's like we'd all run to try to get in line to be the first one or something. Or I mean, I don't know how they ended up starting, picking the first four on each side or whatever. But yeah, I don't think they probably allow dodgeball anymore in school.
Oh, right. It's probably too violent. Then again, they
But it
should.
was fun.
It's a good one.
What?
You should. You know how many kids would end up? It's probably too much from the bullying side. We don't want that, but
No bullying, but a little good smack upside the head every once in a while.
exactly.
Knock sense into people and keep them honest.
Boy, wouldn't that be fun? I wish that we could play dodgeball right now. I could use it after the few days I've had.
There's where my mom and stepfather live in Silverton, Oregon. The high school, I think, has an annual dodgeball tournament to raise money. And I think it's quite I've never gone to watch, but it'd be pretty fun. I think the teams, I don't know if there's divisions, but I mean, there's some pretty good teams. There's probably some carnage. But
I would say that's also one of my favorite movies, comedy movies. If I had a genre, dodgeball.
it is very funny.
It's fun. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like I've been dodging bullets all week long, though. So
Yeah, it's been an interesting week.
Yeah.
Yeah, busy and kind of emotionally tiring, but good.
Yeah.
So I have a good question for you that'll kind of get you thinking and me thinking, and hopefully our listeners thinking. What are you most afraid of?
Oh. Okay. Listeners, comment. We want to hear what you're most afraid of.
Yes, we do. Thank you for the reminder.
Yes. It's funny because I have an experience years ago where one of the teachers I was working with, we did this experience or whatever, and it's one that, it's pretty intense. And at the end, I was supposed to, you come off the experience and you sit in front of the teacher who's a martial artist, and he looks at me and he's like, "What are you afraid of?" And I said, "Everything."
Wow.
And that was the first thing that came out of my mouth, was everything. And I guess that's not really a true statement. But I think the thing.
Well, did you think about it after that and kind of see what that meant?
Well, yeah. I mean, I really sit with what is it that invokes that trepidation, or it keeps me, in that fight, flight, or freeze mode. And I would say feeling helpless with my kids. Like them going through something tragic, or the idea of them being in life or death situation. There was nothing I could do. That's what I think I'm most afraid of.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm sure that's
Snakes, man.
Probably a common one for a lot of folks, or for some folks.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, other than mice and rats, I'm on a chair. I cannot stand them. Snakes and bugs, no problem. Mice and rats, no. Man, I'll try to make this as simple as possible and as concise. Not really realizing what I feel like my mission is, to share what I create on a larger scale. That drives. Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it before. When I was 3, my mom told, or I told my mother that I was put here to inspire people. I said it just like that. And she reminded me after my first book happened. And my first book was kind of an accident as I was just working myself. And so that was intriguing when I heard it, and it kind of made everything click. It's like, oh, and this was just right when I was leaving my family business. So, okay, sweet. Now I have a new direction because I really didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew I needed to leave. So I head off in this direction, and without going into the whole story, it was good because it motivated me, and I felt like I was on the right track and having a life purpose. But it also messed me up. And then I tried to be perfect and almost pious because here I was writing self-help books. And it also, I felt like it was going to happen quicker than maybe it did or has. And so every time I would release something, is this the thing that's going to spring me? And then when it did really well, and I should have been patting myself on the back for all these cool new things I was doing, I was depressed for a little bit. And so that's not the right attitude to have, and that's not enjoying the ride. So, there's been a lot of lessons and growth through that, but that's probably my biggest fear.
It's interesting how I don't think our fears are, as far as the biggest ones, are that common, because so many people are afraid of heights, which heights make me nervous, but I wouldn't say it's my biggest fear,
Yeah.
public speaking, uh, being exposed in public naked, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Shamed in public.
yeah, yeah. So, um, interesting.
I know, right? There's a whole lot there to dig into. And I mean, I've thought all about it a lot, and I've definitely done a lot of healing and growth since I recognized that about 3 years ago, when I took a little break after I got my cancer diagnosis, and just got off the hamster wheel and did my RV trip for 6 months and just kind of anonymously around the US. And that was really nice. But yeah, no, it is still, I'm still driven.
That's good. That's okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever see a 6'2", 225 muscle man scream like a little bitch with a little tiny spider?
Ah, well,
My son, he's gonna love this if it ever comes out.
well, I have my son too. He's 6'2" as well. And he was visiting. We saw this big one on the wall, and he just, and I went over there and just kind of got a white paper towel and just kind of, sorry, but took care of it. And I kind of went toward him with it, and he was just, no, I was like, but
What
he's, otherwise he's solid, but he doesn't like spiders nearly either.
I thought it was hysterical when I experienced that with him. And I knew he was afraid of spiders. He always has been all his life, But when he was in ninth grade, I think it was, no, younger than that. Anyways, doesn't matter. When he was in school, there was I was living back east, and there was a garden spider, and those are the ones that are black and yellow, and they're actually really pretty. And they make these beautiful webs that they're like little zigzags with the webs in the plants. And if you get too close, it starts to vibrate the web to kind of scare off the predator, right?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, his science teacher, who he loved, had all the kids bring in something from nature, you know, and this spider was outside the front window, and he looks at me, he's like, Mom, I want to take that in for, I can't remember her name, for the teacher. And I was like, I can't believe I'm about to do this. So here I am with Tupperware and a broom, and then you watch this thing start vibrating, and you're just like, even though I'm not afraid of spiders, it still kind of gives you the willies,
Sure.
but the things you do.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, it's that must be an East Coast spider because I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with those out here
Of
on the
course,
West.
any movies that we watch now, whenever we're together, because he's still back, he and his wife are back east. And anytime there's a movie and a spider comes through, like I think of Harry Potter or whatever, or Lord of the Rings, he's like, why is it always a giant spider? Like, well, people are playing off of your phobia.
Yeah, it's a common one.
Yeah, yeah,
Flying, heights, spiders.
yeah. I know. So I know now, no mice for Brian.
Yeah, no gags, no little rubber mice floating around or anything like that. No,
Okay.
I don't know why. They're just disgusting and they're sneaky and they startle you and there's a ton of little lizards around here and they don't bother me at all. You know, you almost step on them. I'm sorry, buddy. You know, and they're skirting around just like a mouse does, but it does not. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, everybody has their thing. What's your pet peeve?
Oh God, I probably have a few. One is when people do not return their shopping carts in the parking lot. I mean, yeah, I
Especially when it
mean, gosh, it's
bumps into
just
your
like they
car.
walk a half a mile around the store, but they can't walk another 30 feet to put it into a thing. I don't know. And I don't really worry too much about stuff I can't control, but that one just like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? If I ever had to hire anybody, I would ask them that question in an interview. I would say, "Do you return your parking or your shopping cart in the parking lot?" And you can tell if they're being honest or not, because that says so much about somebody,
I do.
I think.
Yep. I will walk it into the store. If I, it just depends on which is closer, the return
Yeah, yeah,
or the store. Either way, I walk it in, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like that. One of my pet peeves is I don't like stickers, bumper stickers, things like that on cars.
Really?
I've never put one on my vehicle.
Okay. But I mean, you like if you're parked by or if you're sitting behind someone with a bunch of them, that just kind of
I
makes
mean,
you
it's
kind of,
entertaining, but as far as like, I think it looks tacky. That's just
yeah.
me. We all have our pet peeves, right?
You're not going to put a coexist sticker on the back of your.
I'm not.
Okay.
I am not. I love the Niners. I will not put a Niners thing on.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't do those either, although I've put Iron Man stickers on the back of my car before.
Tony Stark is dead.
What's that?
Tony Stark is dead.
Yeah, well, no, not that Iron Man. I'm talking about like triathlon Iron Man.
Oh, I thought you meant Marvel.
No. I'm not a superhero
Oh,
fan. I mean, you know, per se. No, like the triathlon, just like it's just a teeny bit of an ego thing, I suppose, you know, to slap that back on there.
yeah.
Proud of it.
I have to say another pet peeve of mine is
But
people throw trash and cigarette butts out their car windows.
of course. Ugh.
I
Yeah.
My kids were little. I saw that once. We got to a stoplight. I pulled up next to the person, got out, handed them their trash because I'd stopped to pick it up. Said, "You dropped this."
Wow. What'd they do?
They were like defensive, that sort of thing. I said, "This is not okay." They're like, "Well, you can throw it away." Anyways, it wasn't a terrible altercation, but it was something, you know. And the scary thing is nowadays you just don't know road rage and what's going to set somebody off, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's a lot of underlying anger in folks, and it really doesn't take hardly anything.
no, but I mean, why litter? You know, just
No, I agree.
throw it away when you get to a trash can. And if you're smoking, I have a strong opinion about smoking, but
I'm one of those guys that can smell a cigarette like a mile away, you know, I'm kidding, but like a long ways away. It's like, oh, going this way.
exactly, exactly.
Huh. I guess a pet peeve of mine is when people don't say thank you to. I don't know why I get. It's not like I get triggered that much by it, but like if I do something for somebody and they don't, I don't know. Yeah, because I know I try to be very good about that.
Yeah, basic manners. When I was in the banking world many moons ago, and I was working with all the different moving parts like tellers, if you remember bank tellers, which we don't really, do we even have them anymore? I haven't been inside a bank in a long time.
Hmm.
But anyways, if they didn't say please and thank you, they were out. I mean, just as basic customer service. That is a major pet peeve of mine is bad customer service. I don't care how much you're making an hour. You chose to be in that job, whether you were forced or whatever, but you're there and you're doing the role. So you serve the customer. Now, is the customer always right? No, I don't believe that, but you can
I
still
agree. Yeah,
give good customer service.
yeah, yeah. That happened to me the other day somewhere. I don't remember where it was, but it's like really. not a great representation of this place, come on, but yeah. And I mean, I really took pride in that. I remember when I used to pick up golf balls at the driving range. My first job was working at a driving range, picking up golf balls in an old John Deere small riding mower with a chicken wire cage around it that wasn't very safe. And of course, everybody's aiming at me, and luckily I never got hurt. But
Yeah.
I was like 13, and I picked up every effing ball in the whole field. Just like that was my job, and I wanted to please these two old guys that ran the place. I don't know. That's a little OCD, but probably. But yeah.
I think we all have a little of that every now and again. That's a good question. Do you have an obsession?
Well,
And you get obsessed?
my work,
Okay.
just trying to create and share in unique and fun ways that are inspirational and thought provoking. I mean, I wouldn't. I just feel like it's like my life purpose. So I don't know if I equate that with being an obsession, but I'm driven by it.
I can get obsessed.
About
If there is a example, here's an example. If, let's say, my smart TV isn't working properly, or I can't get like a particular football game on or whatever, I will be obsessed with getting it to work until I get there. If that means I switch from Hulu to Sling to Fubo, whatever, I'm going to get this game. And I won't stop until I figure it out. So
no, that's good. I mean, I get that way too. I just done little micro things like that. Sure.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, those are so like trying to problem solve and figure something out that's important to me. I can get obsessed about it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't talking about creepy obsessions. We don't need any of that.
Take it that way.
Do you? No, never mind. Don't answer that question.
No, I don't even know what I was gonna. What were you gonna say?
Throwing a dodgeball at you. I was saying,
Oh,
you have creepy obsessions?
yes, yeah. I got it. You're out.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I hope not.
Have to answer the question.
There's probably some things that are subconscious that we all maybe do a little unconsciously. I don't know.
See, I have this thing.
And I mean, if I did know, I don't know if I would air my. No, I'm just kidding. Dirty laundry.
Yeah, there's some things that it's meant to stay back there.
I mean, I was acquitted, but yeah.
Because it didn't
I don't want them to reopen the case.
Anyways, sorry. Won't go there. Oh God.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I think I forgot. I
No,
love
that's okay.
Oh, I remember. I have this idea that because I'm an adult, I don't have to answer any questions. Just because somebody asks you a question doesn't mean you have to answer it. But do you think that we as human beings have a tendency to do that? I asked you a question, you have to answer me. No, I really do not. My answer might be silence. My answer might be, I have no answer, or I don't have the capacity to answer that.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know if I've ever really been asked a question that I haven't wanted or haven't. I guess with what I do, I mean, when I do a podcast as a guest or something and somebody asks a question, I kind of just know that I might be asked something vulnerable, but I feel like I'm here to share that via my work and stuff. So I guess I haven't been asked something to the point or to the level of pleading the fifth or having think about that for a second. Yeah. Does that happen to you very often?
No, but I'm going to call someone out on it. My father, he's very good at asking questions that I really don't like giving answers to because it goes down a religious path and I don't embrace that philosophy. So I choose, he and I have had very candid conversations around it too, because I seek to understand. So we ask questions to understand each other, but there's certain things that we don't see eye to eye on, right? And
Okay.
so there are times where I will decline because I don't want to offend him.
Okay, I totally understand where you're coming from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So, and
Yeah.
things are private. They're, that again, that's the other thing. If somebody was asking about, let's say, relationship intimacy or whatever, it's like, well, I'm not really inclined to share that because that's with me and my partner kind of thing.
Yeah, when I was just thinking a half a step back, just um we don't have to try and explain ourselves either, because sometimes we get asked a question and we feel like, all right, but then you start saying it and it's coming out wrong and they're not really understanding where you're coming from, and then it just becomes this muddled affair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Sounds good.
what's your definition of intimacy?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Gosh, intimacy. Well, all of a sudden I'm thinking of the Love Guru movie with Michael Myers. What did he say? Intimacy is into you, I see, or something like that. But
At least
um,
it wasn't shallow Hal.
no, no. Intimacy, I mean, gosh, it's just being vulnerable. It's sharing. There's many levels of it, I suppose, whether it's with a partner or a coworker or family member. Yeah. But ultimately I think it's just allowing yourself to be vulnerable with someone else or with a group, and just sharing some authentic parts of yourself that maybe aren't shown the light a whole lot or aren't shared. How about you?
Same. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's being able, I'll use just different language, but same thing is being unmasked, not putting up a facade and allowing someone to truly be with you. And it's so funny how scared we are. We crave it. That's what we as human beings crave so much, and we're so afraid of it. And it's sad because we've created that environment to be afraid, because we judge or we rebuke or we belittle or whatever. And so it's not a safe environment for us to be vulnerable with someone.
And you're so right though. It's just like we crave it, but yet it's one of the hardest things to do, in addition to like loving and accepting ourselves. I think that more we go down that path, the easier it is to be intimate. But especially like in today's society where you have to kind of watch what you say, even though your heart's in the right place. You don't want to stumble and say the wrong thing that's going to get you canceled or get somebody offended.
Right.
And so that makes it even harder to be.
And you know what? You bring up a good controversial point. In everybody seems to get offended by everything these days. And when do we say enough is enough? When do we, and really it's about what we've talked about before. If you don't have the tools to communicate, if you don't have the tools of self-awareness, that's where the offensiveness comes from, you know?
And I guess everybody's hurting so much that it's like they have to go down that road to kind of maybe give themselves a semblance of validation, or it's like makes them feel like they're part of a group, which maybe makes them feel more validated. Or I mean, there's a lot of reasons, I suppose.
I think also ignorance plays a big part, and then we make assumptions and we judge, like I say, and we make statements to people before asking questions, I mean, nowadays it's like, how would you like to be referred to? There's nothing wrong in asking that question. I prefer she. Great. Or her, you know. So nothing wrong with that. Or I would like to be African American woman, or I would like to be referred to as Jamaican or whatever. I mean, we have our preferences, but to
Yeah.
ask the questions. And one of the things that I do with all of my clients, especially if I don't know how to pronounce their name, I have one in particular. I don't want to use it because of confidentiality.
Mhm.
But one of the things that I will do is ask, please tell me how to pronounce your name, because as we've talked about, the name is it's the greatest spell ever cast. And I want to make sure that I'm casting that spell correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Some real thought-provoking questions today.
I just heard the school bell ring. Does that mean we're done with this podcast for now?
Is it already? Gosh, I guess it's been about a half hour. Man, time flies.
It does.
Yeah. I'm going to repeat again what you said at the start, but anybody who wants to share what their pet peeve is or what they're afraid of is, feel free to share that with us. And it's always kind of interesting to see what everybody else is thinking and their thoughts about anything. And feel free to ask us whatever you want, or if there's something you want us to talk about in the future.
Yeah, ask away. There's no topic really off limits. We just ask that there's no bullying, there's no intentional harm that's caused. So this is all about doing the right thing.
Yeah, I can't help a bad joke now and then, but I try not to make it offensive.
Exactly. Good to see you, Brian. Thanks for this time.
Thank you. See you later.
Thanks for joining Jamie and Brian on Recess, the podcast, the twice-weekly show of eclectic, inspired, and entertaining discussion. Be sure to subscribe as well as share with your friends and spread the good news. It's always appreciated. If you'd like to learn more about Jamie's intuitive coaching services and creative projects, please go to jamiedawn.com. And if you'd like to learn more about Brian and his creative spark world and books, please go to gbrianbenson.com.